Today, I'm here to talk to you about the Lullaby project. Lullaby started in 2011, and it emerged from a partnership that we had in place with the Jacobi Medical Center in the South Bronx. Jacobi is a public hospital, and it started in response to maternal health needs that we started to hear about from physicians and staff at the hospital. We started to wonder if, in response to those needs, what might happen if young women had the opportunity to work with an artist to write a lullaby specifically for their babies in preparation for welcoming them. Might that give them the opportunity to step outside of challenges in their current situation and into a more creative space, into a space to consider the hopes and dreams they had for their babies, for their young families? And once they had that song, how might they use it? How might it sustain their life as a young family? How might that song and that experience contribute in some small way to the wellness of those families? So we piloted that idea at Jacobi that fall, and it was hugely successful, and it started to grow. And now Lullaby takes place across many different settings in New York City: social service organizations, healthcare settings, justice settings, and through partnerships nationally and internationally around the world. Lullaby has been in place now for 10 years. More than 3,000 songs have been written, and they are quite amazing. They range in all kinds of ways. They're not all the soothing songs that you might expect, but they are deeply, deeply personal and individual to each family. Here you see a page from our Lullaby journal. So there are lots of different prompts that artists use to support families in writing personal lyrics and melodies for their babies. This one is a letter writing activity that helps get conversations going. And really these are centered around hopes, dreams, and love, but all kinds of things come into these personal songs. Family history, culture, different languages, etc. Many families have the opportunity to also professionally record their lullabies in studio alongside professional artists, and there are hundreds and hundreds of lullabies on our SoundCloud page if you're interested in checking those out. Here is our current partner map, so just to give this sense of the really organic growth that has happened around Lullaby. And what I want to draw your attention to is how flexible and adaptable this project is. That is why it has grown in this way so organically. People can take Lullaby and apply it in to very specific community needs, and it can adapt in many, many different ways to cultures, to different kinds of people. So that's where we are at the moment. Dr. Denny Palmer-Wolf has been our research partner since the beginning of this program. And you see a few of her papers that are available on our website. One of those really looks at the outcomes of Lullaby in the early years that we started to explore. And the other two are much more about scanning the field and looking at ways in which music is critical to early childhood development and also to supporting young families. So why is music critical in the early years? What is really at stake at this time? 80% of brain development happens in the first 3 years of life. Young people learn to walk, they learn to talk, they learn social skills, among myriad other astonishing human development that happens in those very first years. But that only happens if there's a healthy pregnancy and if there is enough of a secure and safe scenario for families to develop and thrive. The US currently fails to make necessary investments in young families. In 2015, the US ranked 146th out of 179 countries in the International State of the World's Mothers report, which looks at a whole range of maternal health outcomes. And that was in 2015. It's gotten worse during COVID. And those terrible outcomes, we know, fall disproportionately on people experiencing poverty, on people of color, and on people who don't have necessarily a source of stable, secure housing, proper nutrition, and good health care. The good news is that positive change is possible through collective efforts by diverse community stakeholders. And we know from our evaluation that the Lullaby Project and other similar initiatives can make small contributions to that larger imperative. Given the time constraints, I'll talk a tiny bit about the outcomes we're most focused on at the moment, and then I want to bring a little bit of the work into the room through a video. So we are really looking at well-being around Lullaby, and we've been using the PERMA framework, which is a framework that was designed, theorized by Martin Seligman, Dr. Martin Seligman at the University of Pennsylvania, and it talks about 5 building blocks to well-being. Those are positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. And what we've done in the early years of this project is to look at interviews with participants and code those interviews against this wellness framework. And what we find is that moms use much more rich, descriptive language about how they positively feel in the world in their lullaby descriptions than when they talk about their life more broadly. We find many, many, many statements about pride. I never thought that I could write a song, but somebody invited me to do this, and I thought I would try. And I brought my aunt or, my partner, and we worked with this artist and this amazing song I wrote. So you really hear that pride piece. You hear how deeply meaningful something this simple can become in the life of a young parent and ultimately a family. And there's a bunch of writing about it, so I won't go into more detail now, but that PERMA framework is the central place we're looking at Lullaby and its impact on wellness and well-being. Research in general is a big priority for us, and we have an annual convening gathering at Carnegie Hall in June that brings current partners and prospective partners together. We always have a research component there and hear from researchers around the world who are looking at similar topics, and that's also when we have our big celebration concert. That's on June 3rd this year, in case you're interested. And in closing, I just want to bring a little work into the room and share a little clip from our celebration concert this past June. This is a young mother introducing her song, which is called Song for Nico. And I think it gives a sense of, you'll see a lot of resonance around that framework and some of the things that she says about the experience that she's had with Lullaby. So let's see if we can get this to play.
I am amazed by my experience with the Lullaby Project. When I was first approached to participate, I was struggling so much with mental health issues and physical health issues that I honestly didn't know if I could do it. But when it was framed to me as an opportunity to bond with my yet-to-be-born baby, I thought it was worth a try. Writing my lullaby ended up being a turning point in my pregnancy. I had spent the entire time feeling ill, anxious, and depressed. I couldn't believe I wasn't feeling any of the things a normal, expectant parent felt. Something must be wrong with me. But the songwriting session with John and Eleni was incredible. I was back. My creativity flowed. I was regarded as a co-creator, a soon-to-be parent, but most of all, as myself. My husband and I played the song every night to Nico through my belly. I whispered the lyrics to him until the day he was born. And every day since, he's heard the song. It's the last part of our bedtime routine every night, and it calms him. Fast forward to my baby Nico being 7 months old and getting an email that my lullaby was going to be arranged and recorded by artists with the Lullaby Project. Through that process, hearing Nico's lullaby sung back to me, I realized for the first time that his song was also a song for me. The lyrics of Song for Nico echo, "I trust you." This process allowed me to find the words to share with Nico, but even more so with myself, a deep trust in the journey of parenthood, of growing, and of creating.
I trust you, you dark, you have the light coming through. Always remember that you can be tender, give and receive and lead with love. You can be open, you can be broken, you can be free.